Introduction. If you're like most people, you know at least one person who has had to suffer from Clostridium difficile, a diarrheal illness that can be incredibly debilitating. In this video, we'll cover the basics of Clostridium difficile and how to best treat it. We'll also give some tips on how to prevent its spread and what to do if your child experiences it. Finally, we'll close with a few words about antibiotics and their role in treating Clostridium difficile. What is Clostridium difficile? The symptoms of Clostridium difficile can vary, but can generally include abdominal pain, fever, and an inability to evacuate the bowels. In some cases, Clostridium difficile can even lead to death. How can you treat Clostridium difficile? The best way to treat Clostridium difficile is with antibiotics. To take the necessary antibiotics, you will need to be hospitalized or have surgery done on your stomach. These treatments usually work within a few days and are usually effective in treating most cases of Clostridium difficile. How to prevent Clostridium difficile from happening in your family? When you are likely to see Clostridium difficile, it is important to get the Clostridium difficile treatment antibiotics. These antibiotics help to stop the spread of the bacteria and can be taken by people of all ages. Avoid eating areas where Clostridium difficile is known to occur. If you suspect that you may have Clostridium difficile, avoid eating in any areas that are known to contain this bacteria. This includes restaurants, cafes, bars, and other places where food could potentially contaminate with this bacteria. Get the Clostridium difficile treatment antibiotics. The best way to prevent Clostridium difficile from happening is by taking the antibiotics prescribed by your doctor. You should also follow the directions of your doctor carefully, including drinking a full drink of water every time you take an antibiotic, even if it's just a sip, washing your hands thoroughly, and avoiding contact with anyone who has been treated with antibiotics before you yourself do so. Advice for people with Clostridium difficile. If you are people with Clostridium difficile, it is important to avoid taking unnecessary antibiotics. This can cause serious side effects, such as diarrhea and vomiting. If you do take an antibiotic, be sure to check the label to see if it is a drug that is known to cause Clostridium difficile. Be aware of the symptoms of Clostridium difficile. Some of the symptoms of Clostridium difficile include diarrhea, fever, and abdominal pain. If you experience any of these symptoms, please get help from a healthcare professional as soon as possible. Get the help you need if you have Clostridium difficile. Many people with Clostridium difficile require treatment with antibiotics in order to recover from their ordeal. If you have Clostridium difficile and feel like you need assistance getting the best treatment possible, please contact your healthcare professional or go to a doctor's office for help. Conclusion. People with Clostridium difficile often experience symptoms such as diarrhea, abdominal pain, and fever. To prevent this from happening to your family, use antibiotics when suspected and avoid eating areas where Clostridium difficile is known to occur. Get the help you need if you have Clostridium difficile, and be aware of the symptoms to help you manage them effectively.